I can confirm it's actually rather stonking. Hello everyone, it's Barry here. Hope you're well, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our kitchen. Today we're doing another one of those emergency giant foods using common baking tins and things that you should have around the house. Today, using baking trays that you should have around the house, we're going to attempt to make a giant version of a BN Biscuit. Some edible 90s nostalgia, and if you're a fan of these, which I am and I know Mrs. B is, and hopefully she'll taste it at the end if it works, it will be incredible and a perfect alternative to a birthday cake. So this is what they are. You can get them in a pack. They come in various different facial expressions. The box itself, they kind of all lined up. They're on some sort of weird BN Biscuit tube station thing, but they're all making really weird squinty faces, and I've tried my best to replicate it. It's kind of like, just got to imagine you've got a fly in your eye, but it's a happy little biscuit. It's sandwiched together with a chocolate ganache, which I was going to do a buttercream, so we'll do a ganache, and it's got some weird pimply bits on the back. So we're going to try and make this thing a thing so that you guys, if you want to make it, can have a bit of fun, and it should taste pretty darn cool. Let's get going. All right, so the ingredients you're going to need just for the biscuit alone is some plain flour, some caster sugar, some butter. Try and get salted if you can. To bond it together, rather than using milk, we're going to be a little bit cheekier and use some cream. I mean, it's a smiling biscuit. We want to make it smile for a reason. Let's do it. We've also got some vanilla extract, but if you want, you could scrape the seeds out of a vanilla pod to enhance the flavour even more, although I don't think they probably do that in the factory. And we've got an egg, so this is optional. I'm going to actually egg wash it just with the yolk for a more golden colour. You could do egg white and yolk mixed together, the whole egg for a slightly lighter one, or omit it entirely. Pug optional. All right, mate. And whilst we're talking about the filling for the ganache centre that is going to wedge them biscuits together, it's just simply some milk chocolate with some cream. I don't know what's going to excite me more, making this biscuit or that ganache filling. I love a ganache. Oof. Good t-shirt idea. So when it comes to making the biscuit, I was a little bit unsure about if this dough was even going to work or be enough for what I needed. I grabbed myself a mixing bowl and started to make the dough, and we'll take it from there. So into that bowl, you plonk in your butter, the flour, and the sugar. And you guys know that I hate this task. When the butter's like that, you can cut it into cubes to make it easier. You can even whiz it in a food processor, but I've got my pastry blender cutter thing tool, the most amazing gadget that makes you feel like Wolverine just temporarily, that can help grind up that butter and work it into the flour and sugar until you basically get like a breadcrumby texture. Oh yeah. It's a little bit like edible dust. That was really, really nice. I think, like, if you want to save money on confetti at a wedding, you could start scattering that over someone. It was really light. It was like a snow. Next goes in the cream, which, like I say, if you want, you could just use some milk, but I really wanted to push that today, and the vanilla extract. Get a spatula and stir that all the way round. At first, it'll be all like sort of dry and clumpy and coarse and feel like it's not doing anything, but trust me, it will start to come together. Do not make it too wet. If you do, just add some more flour in, but please just work it away and then start to use your hands until you get it into one big old lump of cookie dough. And that's basically what it is. It's a huge cookie dough ball. Literally is. That's cool, right? Get your dough ball and wrap it in some good old cling film styly. Pat it down to help the surface area catch the cold in the fridge. I really hope that's going to be enough. And plonk it in your fridge for a solid half an hour. And actually, only after I made that, like 5 minutes later, I was looking at it thinking, yeah, do you know what? That is not enough. Yeah, I just made another one because I want it to be thin, but I do not want it to be that thin that we can't actually make it a decent size. So just for one biscuit alone, I doubled my ingredients up. I wanted to make sure I had enough, so I doubled that again, and yes, I doubled that again. So 4 times those ingredients used. Nice. Whilst that's chilling in the fridge, we kind of want our ganache center to be chilled as well. If it's too hot and warm, it'll be maneuverable and could pour out. Let's talk about ratios. Yeah, when I talk ratios, I'm not talking like my teenage daughter, like ratio sick, yeah, all that stuff. We're talking about the ratio between the cream and the chocolate. So if you have an equal parts cream to chocolate and you make a ganache from that, you're gonna get more of a smoothie, pourable one that you tend to pour on top of cakes, for example. Something to cloak a cake that is, I mean, it's all good. It's all good, right? But if we do slightly more chocolate, obviously once this sets, it wants to go back to how it was. Like chocolate, it'll make it more firm, still spreadable, but set firmer like you would get in one of these biscuits. So we're gonna do 2 parts chocolate to 1 parts cream, and this should work an absolute charm. So ideally for the chocolate, get some chocolate chips if you can. The supermarket didn't have any, or maybe everyone else is making massive BN biscuits at the moment. So what you could do is finely chop it or just grate away, so you have a massive mountain of chocolate, which is really fun to do. But be quick, because your hands get warm and it'll melt it and you end up with like this weird brown smear down the palm of your hand. Not a cool look, especially if your postman knocks at the door, and that is a true story. Get the cream into a big saucepan and on a low heat, slowly bring it up until it just starts to steam a little bit. You don't want to boil it fully, but just get it almost to that point and then dump in the chocolate. It is one of the most favorite moments of mine when you make ganache, when you merge the chocolate and the cream. Oh, just enjoy that, stir it all through, and you get this gorgeous glossy ganache that as it cools down, put it to room temperature and then shove it in the fridge. It is going to be the most perfect wedgie filling. That sounds wrong. I can confirm it's actually rather stonking. But this is what these biscuits are kind of filled with, this sort of ganache wedgie filling. It's not a buttercream, which is obviously butter, icing sugar and cocoa powder. This is pure cream and chocolate, and it's a little bit more stiffer and gorgeous. Oosh. So the ganache stays at room temperature and then we stick it in the fridge for the time being with some cling film on top. So the cookie dough is chilling in the fridge. That will give it some strength. What I decided to do was get some flour and scatter it on my work surface onto the baking sheets that the final cookie will actually bake on. I just want to kind of stop having to move it because it's going to be so thin and delicate. Roll out the dough as best you can just to make sure that you fit your tray. So obviously I went for the maximum width I could on the rectangular baking tray, but it's still effectively a square shape. Dusting flour all over, rolling it out nice and thin, cutting off the edges to kind of get some sort of shape. Yeah, I was sticking my chin out when I concentrate, so I did that when I drive my car as well. I changed gear, I'm like... And the way I looked at it was kind of like a square where someone's just sort of like, like pinched it in and then just drawn a face on it. But there's actually a little bit more to it, as I found as I went along. Yeah, so you got like detail on the back, you got like this sort of butterfly shaped biscuit, you got the face, and you've got eyebrows and stuff going on. It was quite a challenge, and I only got like a C in my GCSE art at school. I've noticed that there's 4 holes in the corner, so I'm just going to use a chopstick to help me, all right? But it's actually that one in the middle that might help me out a bit more. Just to give me a central point. That was actually really, really fun. And the important thing to do is whilst your oven is preheating, you want to hold that shape. If you just did that and baked it immediately, it'll all kind of go, and all of your amazing GCSE C-level artwork would just get destroyed and mingle into one big cookie slab, which will still taste good. So shove it in the fridge for about 20 minutes whilst your oven preheats. So I did the same for the back, except that was like the whole pokey thing with the BN logo thing on it, both in the fridge, and just as you're ready to bake them, for that color, we're gonna give it a nice egg wash all up and down it, glossing it and coating it. That gives it that optional golden color that you don't have to do, but I really wanted mine to pop. So if you want, you can bake them in the oven separately, give them about 15 minutes so they're nice and golden on the top. I actually baked mine both at the same time, so the lower shelf, the base bit, and the BN logo on the bottom, no one's actually ever gonna see that. Because it was on the lower shelf, it wasn't getting so much of that golden color, but for me, it was about getting that on that top layer. It's almost become like a little second pair. Can I just get your official opinion on what's gonna happen? Brilliant, thank you, mate. I am not trying to blow my own trumpet, but that has turned out amazing. Look at that. I mean, it looks a little bit sinister, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. They held their shape. All of those little profiles. Take your time with it, chill it, and it should turn out absolutely phenomenal. I was over the moon with this. And it's easier to see it now. I've got it on a wire rack. Oh my gosh. We'll turn it over and get the ganache on now. And then you're just gonna get your big dollop of gorgeous ganache. Put little islands of it on the base and start to spread it around. Just push it just a little bit away from the edge. Obviously, when the weight of the lid goes on, we can push that down further. Spread it all out, looking amazing, like some crazy chocolate ganache butterfly. And I thought I was there, but then I quickly looked, and although the cream filling is slightly recessed, the top part there is almost flush. You see that? It's flush with the actual biscuit, like it's been put in the middle and then they've just dolloped some more on top, or it's just compressing on, hey. I put mine in manually. So delicately spoon some more ganache on top into the mouth and then the eyeballs, which I know sounds the most bizarre thing to explain on a baking video effectively, but it really, really does enhance it. Spread it out, being careful not to get any ganache on your face. And that's it. My emergency BN biscuit is done. Remember, I've done other emergency ones. This is all about using tins you have around the house. I did the Kit Kat before, which was a stonker. And of course, we can giant food this someday. It's the ganache. Look, it's holding it all together. It's really nice and rigid. We've got that logo on the back like that. It's amazing. This is like one of my most favorite ones I have ever done. And I think the egg yolk really does make it pop. So I like these. Mrs. B likes these. Let's have a blooming taste. All right, open your eyes.
Oh, wow.
Hey?
That's cool.
That is what I've been working on all morning.
Oh, amazing.
Do you do any chores around the house? No?
No.
I made one of these. Oh!
Crunchy. Oh, I do love these biscuits.
I'm going to cut for its eyeball.
Oh.
Look at that, it's a beast. Look at that slab.
Mmm.
Oh.
That's good.
Mmm, you've got the crunch.
Mmm. And that ganache tastes just like it.
That is literally like you scaled up the real thing.
Mmm. Well done. I feel a bit bad if I eat that massive bit.
It's a huge wedge of ganache. But the crunch on the biscuit, that was the thing of getting it nice and thin. If you went fatter, it would be a much more softer biscuit, which as it cools, it firms up, but you really want that. Because when you have a normal one, ooh, see, you get a crunch. And I wanted to replicate that. Oh. So in conclusion, Mrs. B, here is Mrs. B's 6-word summary of it.
Just like the real thing. 5 words.
That's hilarious. Just like the real thing. Thanks, guys. Well, there we go, folks. I knew that I would love it, but it definitely got Mrs. B's seal of approval today. If you have any ideas for other emergency things using the cake tins and things like that you get around the house, typical things that all of you would have, do let me know down below. The peanut butter cup was also a very cool one with a flan tin. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you're not already for regular food fun, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.